Hi, welcome to Nourishing Body and Soul, the podcast. Get ready to revitalize your mind, body, and soul. We're here to inspire women who are looking to break free from old patterns and ideas to create a life of increased confidence and improved health. Say goodbye to limiting beliefs and hello to new possibilities. So kick back, get ready to have some fun, and let's dive in. We'll uncover tools and insights that can help you build a life that's truly nourishing, body and soul. Hello, I'm Tracy.
And I'm Victoria.
And thanks for joining us for Nourishing Body and Soul, the podcast. So I know better than this. I'm a strong, independent woman.
Yes, you are.
And yet last night I was laying in bed and hearing a sound that wasn't a scary sound. But instead of being the strong, independent woman that I am and going up to deal with the sound, what did I do? Woke up my husband. I think there's a sound you're going to want to hear. It sounds like something sitting outside of the house, and I don't want it to damage it.
Well, that's the reasons when I get jealous about somebody having a husband. It's not like all the things you would think. It's like, I want somebody to fix the plumbing. I need someone to check the noises. I need someone to take the garbage out. I'm like super
Low maintenance in that regard.
I'm not low maintenance. I'm just like, I know better. I know better than, but I give roles to genders, and now I'm in a genderless household, basically, in a genderless world, basically, and I need to do all the fixing of the plumbing and stuff, which I cannot. Everybody's like, look on YouTube, and I look and think, oh, I wish I had a man. Like a funny contractor, like honey general contractor. That's what I'm looking for. If you know anyone, let me know.
Yeah,
anyway,
so
right.
I easily could have done that myself, and nope, I just woke him up.
Good. I'm glad. I'm happy for you. That's what I would say if somebody was truly in love. I'd be like, I'm happy for you. I'm happy for you that you have to go.
So there we go.
I know better than. Well, now I've completely forgotten my I know better than. Because I'm now just so obsessed with the idea of how nice that would be to be able to just wake somebody up and have them go deal with something instead of, Anyway, I know better than, but I could look on YouTube and I do have the mentally capacity. I just can't speak. It's all a mental capacity to watch on YouTube and fix some plumbing thing, or saw our gate. Our gate is falling like this and I don't know how to fix it, and I'm not very strong. And so I think if I just saw the gate at the bottom.
Gates are tricky.
That's
a legitimate thing. Being married to someone who was a general contractor for so many years, there are so many things.
Can I borrow your husband for the gate?
If you can find a time he's available, absolutely.
I'm just kidding.
Other than
I'm teasing you. 3 in the morning. No.
Oh no, there are in wholesome ways. There are lots of women that borrow my husband.
Wow.
Yeah. So yes, he takes in, and he's very sweet. Like when my sister, when she was single, lived in town, he was just so solicitous of anything that she needed. And
that's sweet.
He's got some widows, that he takes care of, and things like that. Yeah,
he's a very sweet man.
He's a very sweet man with a lot of really good talents. Handy ones.
Yes. Well, that's good. See, there you go. So I know better than, but I'm about to ask her to borrow her husband. Or something.
Yeah.
Very specific. We can't open our gate. That's our problem. To take our garbage out. Both things I wish I could just offload to a man. I wish I could just offload the taking out the garbage and offload the gate. Yes. But anyway.
Yeah.
All right. I know better than assigning roles just based on gender and tasks just based on gender, but still. Yes.
Do it anyway.
Yep. All right. Cool.
Okay. So last week we talked about couple of nutrition myths, and this is a part 2 of that. So 2 more myths being busted today. So this is going to be,
That's my Mythbuster sound.
oh, okay. Copyrighted, patented, don't try to steal it.
Yeah. Oh my.
So our number 3 myth is that the best way to lose weight is to eat less and exercise more.
It is
Not.
It is.
No.
I have lost weight doing that.
And have you gained it back?
Yes, but that's not the point. That's my willpower. That's the problem.
And if you don't
Just
catch
kidding.
that, listen to last
Just
week's
kidding.
episode.
Yeah, sorry, just kidding. It really feels like it should be, though.
It feels, and see, that's why it's a difficult one, because we hear it. I mean, I doubt that there's anybody, at least in America, who hasn't heard that.
Yeah.
And we do, it seems like that would make perfect sense.
Yes.
And
Yes.
a couple of things, let's unpack this first. So the eating less. This assumes that somebody is eating too much, which may or may not be true. Somebody may
Yes.
already be eating an amount of food that is the right amount of food, the sustaining amount for the lifestyle that they have.
Yes.
And so that's a problem.
Mhm.
And it also assumes that people are not exercising a sufficient amount, which may or may not be true.
So is it even possible to lose weight? Like, is that even a thing that we can even do?
Well,
Healthy, mentally healthy wise?
maybe, but and that answer to that is it depends. It depends on, what weight, according to your genetics, that your body wants to be, or weight range, I should say, your body wants to be. And if we're fighting against that, then there's not going to be a mentally, emotionally, physically healthy way to maintain.
I know, and I know better than.
Okay.
Sorry.
Okay.
That's better. I forgot about it.
Okay.
Now I remember.
Okay.
Okay, so this has to do with genetics. So I kind of have my dad's body, which, yay, I guess. No, not at all. My mom, like, she's skinny, but my dad was bigger. But I remember when I was young and we would go to the family reunions and all my uncles would be getting older. I had 3 uncles. Their legs would get skinnier the older they got. And so I noticed, like, recently that my legs are skinnier than they've ever been. And I'm like, I think I might get thigh gap pretty soon. So I checked the mirror to see if I had thigh gap, which I don't, not yet. But genetically, I may end up with thigh gap. For those of you who don't know what thigh gap is, most people I'm sure do, but it's when women's legs don't touch, when they don't touch at the top. So, yeah. So that was a thing that everybody, like, young girls were wanting to have thigh gap. And it was a thing that people were promoting on social media and stuff. And I was like, there's no way I ever had thigh gap. Like, my thighs have always been like.
I could go on such a rant about that one. That's a.
Do it.
Oh gosh. Thigh gap is. Shut up about it. It is such a non-realistic thing for most people, and is such a completely ridiculous. It's one of those things, like, we hear about in olden times. They used to think, like, that this was the thing. I can't remember if it was sometime back in the day, way back in the day in England, it was like men's calves were considered like the thing. And so you see these paint portraits, and they've got their foot turned at this odd angle, and they're like one leg in front of the other, so that you can see their calf. And it's all, and it's one of those kind of things that we're going to look back and go,
yeah, because
that was a thing. And for most people,
it's not realistic.
It's not. I have never in my life, ever, 100% sure when I'm a baby, did not have thigh gap. And all of growing up, even when I was little, little in junior high, and into high school. And I never had thigh gap. It is not
Yeah,
how my body is built.
no,
And for a vast majority of the population, it isn't either. And so
no.
to have that be something that people strive for, woo,
Well,
okay.
striving for it.
No,
just
I know.
But
I
I
know.
did want to I kind of wanted to bring it up because it sort of fits. So that was why I forgot it at the beginning and remembered it right
There we
now.
go.
But I wanted to say, because like it really was, I looked in the mirror and I'm like, no, but maybe. But I guess that make my legs attractive? No, because it's not like it's in proportion with the rest of my body,
So
which needs to have gaps everywhere, evidently.
I will climb down off my, so end of rant
Well,
about
no,
thigh gap
yeah, thigh gap is
for the
yeah,
moment.
yeah, thigh gap. You needed to rant about that.
So, so yeah, the first problem with this myth is that it assumes that people are eating too much, and it assumes they're not exercising enough. So there's a problem there. And that if our bodies were as cut and dried as a machine, there might be more validity to this. However, our bodies are not machines. They're not machines. And so we can't have these cut and dried rules about them, like with a car.
Yeah.
Or some other piece of machinery. And it has zero recognition, gives for the fact that our bodies are complex things. And this myth is really actually quite a dangerous one, because it's one that leads to, okay, well, I'm eating this much now, and I weigh more than I think I should, and I'm exercising this much now, and I weigh more than I think I should, and so I'm just going to cut that back, and I'm going to cut that back. And if it is not in our genetics to weigh that magical number that we think we're supposed to weigh, then sister, you are heading for an eating disorder.
Yes.
And this is not something to play with. And an exercise disorder.
Yeah.
It's like, it's not.
Because you binge and then you think, oh, well, I'm going to exercise it all off. And then you end up in the gym for like 3 hours, which I've done.
Which, if you're Simone Biles, 3 hours in the gym. Makes
if you're a
sense.
professional athlete. Yeah.
However, for you and I, and more than 90% of the people in the world, 3 hours in the gym is not a reasonable thing. Consistently. Yeah. Occasionally, maybe, if it's what you love to do. But yeah, so this, and if eating less and exercising more were the key to losing weight, wouldn't we all be at the weight we want to be at? Yeah. Because we go, oh, okay, I got this dialed in, right, to the exact amount of food I need to eat and the exact amount of exercise I need to do, because I have increased my exercise and decreased my food until I hit that magic place.
Well, we think it's willpower.
And now there I am.
We think that the reason why we're not eating less and exercising more is willpower. That's the overarching thing. Like if we had enough willpower, we would eat less, and we would exercise more if we had enough willpower. So it's my fault and it's my bad and I am wrong because this is what it looks like and this is how you should get there. Like I said with the apps that give you the calories, this is what you should look like and how to get there, and then that's the roadmap. And yeah, it doesn't always work. Yeah, it doesn't work long term. At least I've experienced that it doesn't work long term. Yeah, but then that's my fault. You know what I mean? Like that's what I think. That's my fault. Yep, because we believe this myth. Yeah, because it's been presented as fact for so long. This is like, there's not even a remote part of any one of the letters of that sentence, the best way to lose weight is eat, size, and exercise more, that does not have diet culture completely saturating it. That is diet culture mentality to the max. And it's just not, it's not only a myth, it's not healthy, and it's can be downright dangerous. So busted. Yes.
So.
Sorry, I felt like I needed to
No,
add that
we
in.
need our patented sound effect.
Yeah. Yeah, no one had to pay for that sound effect.
All right, so
Oh.
our next myth is that the experts are the ultimate source for reliable, scientifically accurate information when it comes to how to deal with our bodies.
Yes. That, yes, I mean, you know, well, we talked about this last time when we talked about food labels.
Mhm.
We talked about how food labels are a marketing tool in a lot of ways. And that's like but you look on the back and you think, okay, well, a serving of, you know, of Cheerios is has half a cup. So that's the right serving, because that's what the experts say, because why else would they put that on there if they weren't experts in, you know, food nutrition, I guess, or whatever, food science.
Right. And no disrespect to people who are experts in nutrition and that kind of thing. They've done their study. Okay. But experts once said that eggs were like the best thing that you could have. They're so full of so many nutrients and so
Aren't
so
they?
good. Well, and then the experts said, do not eat eggs. They are so unhealthy for you. And then the experts
High
said,
cholesterol.
right, high cholesterol. And then the experts said, oh, never mind. It's a good kind of cholesterol. Eggs are really actually very good for you. The
Yes.
experts have said sugar is really good for you. It gives you energy. Da, da, da. The current experts say sugar is the devil. It is nothing but bad for you.
Sugar isn't great for you, though.
And so
I'm going to say it's not great for you.
It's, well, from what we currently know, it's not. At one point in time, they thought smoking was good for you.
That's true.
And
That's
so
a diet, actually.
we'll talk about that.
I know. I was gonna resist. I couldn't resist, like a little preview that was a diet, that they marketed cigarettes as a diet food. We'll take it out of our diet myths, but yeah, there was a full-on marketing plan.
Yeah, and so it's this. So there's that.
So France really bought into that.
Yeah, what the experts think changed, but also, let's just talk about the law of gravity. Who identified the law of gravity? Sir Isaac Newton.
Yes.
Did people who lived on the planet before Sir Isaac Newton know about the law of gravity?
No.
Yes, they did.
Well, I mean, not like as not
identified as the law of gravity, but they were easily able to observe that if they were holding something and let go of it, that it would fall to the ground.
Yes. They were on the ground. If they jumped, they didn't
right. They didn't just stay there. Yeah. And so they knew about the law of gravity. They might not have the terminology for it. They might not understand how it worked. They might not have the scientific background, that said, scientific explanation, but they knew about it. The same thing is true in nutritional science, that there are things that, and also in nutritional science, our bodies are not all the same. The things that are going to be very helpful to one person's body are going to be devastating to another person's body. And so the experts can't say that this is the most wonderful food you could eat. This is what everybody should be eating, and this is how much of it they should be eating, because that may not be true. We want the experts to be the most accurate source, because then
we need some.
Well, and also, how much easier is it to go, oh, I'm just going to do what they said?
Yeah.
Than to try to figure out. It takes a will, and it takes time, and it takes patience, and it takes courage, and it takes curiosity, and it takes grace, giving ourselves grace to be able to just do the work that we need to do to be able to understand our bodies and what's actually best for them. It'd be so much easier if it's clients is just like, they just want me to tell them what to eat.
Yes.
Just tell me what to eat. Like, no can do, man. No can do. I'm not a diet consultant. I do not have a diet that I advocate. It's about understanding your body. And so although experts can have really valuable information, they can also, it's information that we can go, oh, okay, that's something to consider. And try it on if we feel so inclined.
Yeah.
But not wait for them to tell us what's best for our body when we know. If, you know, the experts say you have to sleep 8 hours a day. And there are people who, and we talked about this, who know from their own experience in their own body, they don't need a full 8 hours. Or there are people who's like, 8 hours is not enough. I'm exhausted all the time if I sleep 8 hours. 10 hours is what I need. And so that's not what you hear from the experts.
Well, one of the things that the experts have, I'm assuming, is some sort of ideal. This is what a typical woman or typical, most of the time, this is what a typical man needs to eat at his age and this, whatever, you know what I mean? They have like, this is what a typical, whatever it is, whoever it is. And they use that ideal to base everything off, right? So they have like, well, there's an average man. He needs 8 hours, therefore 8 hours is the number. Or there's an average man, he needs this, whatever.
Yeah. And you know, we're not saying throw the experts' advice out the window. That's not it, because people have done a lot of study. However, just keep in mind with that information that the people who said smoking was good for you had done studies too. And the people who said eggs are good for you, eggs are bad for you, eggs are good for you, had done a lot of study to back that up. And so it's keeping an open mind. It's being willing to go, you know what, that's something to consider. I'm going to try sleeping 8 hours and see how that feels. If it works for me, awesome. And if it doesn't, I'm going to do what my body needs. I'm going to sleep 6 or I'm going to sleep 10. But you know, we can use the experts as kind of a place to start from. And, you know, but do our own research with our own field of study, which is living in our own body.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
That's why I like I've told the story before, but when I had appendicitis and the ER doctor, before it was diagnosed, he said, well, you know, ask me, what do you think is going on with your body? And that was just such a wonderful moment. And even though he is the expert, had respect for me being the expert of my own body. And that's what we need to remember, that we have to trust ourselves. We have to
to advocate for ourselves.
Yes, absolutely. It goes back to the you have permission to episode.
Yeah. It is hard to trust yourself, though. It is hard to just be like,
We've been
okay,
taught not to.
Yeah.
We've been conditioned not to.
Yeah. It's hard to be like, okay, I'm gonna allow myself to have a kale salad and 1 cookie. You know what I mean? That's a hard, like, to just let yourself have permission to eat, you know, more than the 1,200 calories you've been allotted, and just trust that your body is not gonna do crazy things like balloon up or whatever.
Yeah.
But anyway, I'm not far down the road.
I'm still working on it too, and it's because the conditioning is so thorough. And I mean, it's what we've grown up with. And whenever we question things that we just have always believed to be true, then that takes some undoing.
And again, a lot of money is made in these diets, in the studies.
Billions of dollars.
Yeah.
Millions of dollars.
Yeah.
And it's when it comes to this experts thing, when consider who your experts are, because find out if they've done the studies, who paid for the studies. If they haven't done the studies, what makes them an expert is they're quoting somebody else's studies. Look at those studies. Who paid for them? What was their incentive?
Okay.
Go
so
ahead.
I have a friend. She and her sister, their father was a doctor. I don't think she had a brother. I think she just has 2 sisters. Doesn't matter. Was she and her sister in high school? This was back in the day. So it's like, I don't know how many years ago. 30, 40, 30, yeah, 30 or 40 years ago. Like a lot. She's older than I. Oh, sorry. Didn't mean to out you. Anyway, her mother decided that they both needed to be thin. So they took them to a doctor in the next town, which is bizarre to me why they wouldn't just go to the one in town. But mind you, her father's a doctor, and gave them pills, diet pills, basically amphetamine. It was a long time ago. So anyway, they come home, they take their pills, they're like beep, 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 all off the walls. Like their parents are like, what the heck? So they decide to take them back to the doctor. Tell them our girls are like bouncing off the wall. So the doctor prescribes them downers. Like one pill was one color, one pill was the other color. And they go back home and they leave their pills out, I guess. And their dog comes and he eats the pills, but he ate both of the pills. So he wasn't up and he wasn't down, and he ended up to be totally fine. But they were afraid they were going to get in trouble because the dog ate the pills and there was a big mess everywhere. And they like gathered up the little parts of it, like those little balls that are in capsules. They gathered them up and put the capsules back together. And of course they were all mixed colors. So, but they were like, we're taking mixed ones anyway. So yeah. So that happened.
So that was the experts.
That was the experts. Yeah. And her dad was a doctor. And he went to a doctor.
Okay. With the sole pursuit of being thin.
Yeah. Well, yeah, that was the important part. Yeah. The important part of it was that they were to be thin.
Yeah.
Their mother looked at them and went, oh, these girls are in high school. They need to be thin.
Yeah.
Let's go.
So
yes. So anyway, experts.
Yeah.
I've been holding on to that for a while.
And here was its moment. Yes. Yeah. So experts are not always our best source of information. Our bodies are going to give us the information we need if we learn. And it's easy to say, listen to your body. So easy to say that. But if you feel like you don't know how, that's okay, because it's a skill that needs to be relearned because it's been so conditioned out of us. So if you're having trouble listening to your body, don't feel like you're alone, and don't feel like there's something wrong with you because of that. Because it'd be quite shocking if you just naturally knew how to listen to your body, having been raised in the culture that we've been raised in. Yeah. So you're the expert. You can learn again to listen to your body. And it really truly is a myth that the best way to lose weight is to eat less and exercise more.
So busted.
Where's the busted sound? There you go. All right. So rather than listening to the myths, and this can be a lot. I appreciate that this can be a lot to take in, because these 4 myths that we've talked about last week and this week are things that are so ingrained in us that most of us, I know I had never even thought to question these things.
Yeah.
It just didn't even occur to me that they might not be true, because they're just so ubiquitous. But it's okay to go, wait a minute, I'm going to need to take a little time with this. And so just, if you're feeling some resistance to this, understandable, but just consider. And if all you can do is consider one of them that sort of made a little bit of sense that we talked about, then just start there. This is not something we have to undo all at once. It's not something that does get undone all at once.
No, this is like a beginning.
Yeah, this
is the beginning of unraveling.
Yeah,
like the little tiny bit.
Yeah. So it's okay if it feels like a lot, because it is in a lot of ways. So but it is part of nourishing your body and your soul.
Yeah,
which is what we're about here. So until next time. And I didn't mention this episode. I have a workbook that goes with this. So if you want the workbook, just mention in the comments that you want the workbook, and we'll figure out how to connect and get that emailed to you. All righty.
All right.
Okay. Have a great week.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Okay, so this is embarrassing because I always make fun of people who did this, but
like and subscribe.
Turns out it's important.
Well, it's important because if you like what you're listening to and seeing and you want to find it again, it makes it easier for you to find it. And then also it makes it easier for other people to find it. So if you like us, like us.
Yeah. Like put a ring on it, us.
Yeah. Then like and subscribe, and it'll make us easier to find. Hey, it's Tracy. If this was helpful and you'd like more, follow me on Instagram at tlastel.nourishingbodyandsoul, or on Facebook or YouTube at Nourishing Body and Soul, or you can find my website at nourishingbodysoul.com. Thanks for tuning in to Nourishing Body and Soul, the podcast. Before we wrap up, we just want to remind you that the information we share in this podcast is for educational and informational purposes only and is not intended for medical advice. While we hope you find our discussions helpful, we strongly recommend that you seek the advice of a qualified healthcare provider before making any changes to your diet, exercise routine, or any other aspect of your health. We also want to make it clear that the host, guests, and producers of this podcast are not responsible for any adverse effects or consequences that may result from the use of any information or suggestion discussed in this podcast. We care about your well-being, but we can't take responsibility for individual outcomes. By listening to this podcast, you agree to indemnify and hold harmless the host, guests, and producers of this podcast from and against any and all claims, damages, liabilities, costs, and expenses arising from your use of the information provided in this podcast. We're so grateful for your support, and we hope you keep listening and learning with us. Thanks.